All right, I want you to think about this. Where do you expect a tornado to happen? What time of day? What part of the country? What time of the year? Well, surprisingly, it's happening more and more in our own backyard and less where you might expect it. Places like Oklahoma, Nebraska, Kansas, Texas, Colorado, and more in places like Cumberland County, Morgan County, and Fentress County. In fact, Morgan County alone has had 3 tornadoes over the last 3 years. Deadly tornado, Deer Lodge this year. That video you just saw of the church blown down in Sunbright 2024. Another one in the western part of the county at 2023. And we really wanted for our special report that airs on Monday to focus on the people that live in this kind of tri-county area that's seeing more tornadoes, that's seeing more tornado warnings. And that's right along Highway 127. That's where we take you, near there. It's Swing On Brewery, how we're going to start this story.
We get busier every weekend. It's amazing.
Blueberry Ale. Sorry, I didn't go to that map. I'll do it after.
Loggers pouring on the plateau.
Something for everyone.
Bruce and Laura Evans run Swing On Brewing from this industrial shed next to their home. They've won gold medals and a lot of fans.
Make a good beer and they'll come. And so they've come.
And today's a beautiful day.
Not every day is this nice, and tornado numbers are increasing near Crossville.
There was an EF4 right across the street.
We showed the Evans this map, 6 tornadoes within a mile. 2 of those were within a quarter mile. They could see one out the front door and one out the back door.
Surprise you how close.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
We break all rules according to what you expect for severe weather. So you expect it to happen just in the spring and just during the day.
Dr. Kelsey Ellis studies these shifting tornadoes and why we often don't flinch when we're under a tornado warning.
So sometimes certain places like Crossville feel like they're getting hit a lot.
But now tornadoes are decreasing in the plains while increasing here in the southeast. This data from the Storm Prediction Center shows that change since the 1980s. The exact mechanism for increased tornadoes is not known. Perhaps it's because of the milder winters. Either way, the spring months are now seeing an increased number of tornadoes.
Following several deadly tornadoes in the state, now the insurance industry is catching on.
There were a lot of people that were outraged locally to see that, hey, my wall to floor connections were very insufficient.
Sarah Dillingham is senior meteorologist at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety. They use their massive wind tunnels for
Product approvals, building codes for inland areas that can experience these very strong winds that can cause damage to your home, including tornadoes.
it is scary. Up north, we have basements to get into. Here, there's no basement.
Swing On's owners say their shed is actually rated to higher winds than their own home, all by design for the plateau.
More violent and more frequent.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
absolutely.
In the past 2 years.
Where Tennessee's led the country in something you don't want to be number one at.
And a lot of times at night.
Tennessee overall sees the largest proportion of tornadoes happening at night, which is about half.
And that's even scarier.
Which is why we always suggest having multiple ways to get tornado warnings at night. While the overall chances of getting hit by a tornado remains low, places like Cumberland and Fentress counties are seeing them.
And what you're seeing is this map, which is the tornado frequency in Tennessee since the year 2000. We've cut off the western part of the state just for clarity here, but they're color-coded EF0 down to EF5. We even had some EF4s in our own backyard. The super outbreak 2011 was 14 years ago as of Sunday. And there's definitely that uptick that you see in Fentress, Cumberland, and the Wartburg area right along Highway 127. That's just a general marker. And then fewer, a lot of that's because of our sheltered nature, the lee side of the Smokies. And so this is not to hype up tornadoes in Tennessee. This is not to scare anybody, but we are seeing more of them, and they've picked up right around the Evans house and brewery. And that's really where we wanted to focus on some of the people impacted by this. Their bartender, Renee, unfortunately, lost 2 of her friends in that Deer Lodge tornado, although we didn't delve into that in the story. Not only is the Great Plains seeing fewer tornadoes and we're seeing more, but it's at a different time of the year in Tennessee. It's in the eastern part of the state right around this time of the year, April into very early May, and then we see a lot less, extremely rare, in August and September. No doubt about it. This is not just because of better radars and better technology and more homes, but tornadoes are going up since 1950. The good news is that we haven't had an EF5 since May of 2013. That was the Moore tornado. Now, kind of a complex reason, it's such catastrophic damage that with better building codes, we're not able to actually tell the difference between a high-end EF4 and an EF5. But I want to leave you with something positive, something that you can do, right? And let's be clear, not hyping this up. Most of you will probably still never see a tornado in your life, but maybe you know somebody that will be impacted. We're not trying to oversell this. But Sarah Dillingham says that checking things like wall-to-ceiling connectors, wall-to-floor connectors are a big deal, and getting a storm-proof garage door, something I'd never thought about because I've never owned my own home, even though I'm well into my 30s, that can be rated up to about 130 miles per hour. So that's something that you can do. You can't change your risk of having a tornado once you move somewhere, but you can change how you react to it. I'm meteorologist Ben Cathy. Catch our special report on Tennessee tornadoes Monday at 11.